Hello everyone, my name is Lana and welcome to the 4th episode of the testimony of Trixie Glimmer Smith. So in the recent episode we have found finally the playbook The King in Yellow and we handed it to our nemesis, or well, just annoying chick, Nikita, because she needed it for her coursework or something like that. And there's like lots of weird things going around when we got invited to help Greg in his bakery and just go to the milk route with Belle, and also Heidi suggested that we could do some extra hours at her shop, so we will gonna go with that. And we're gonna find out if the game is gonna turn into some kind of weird furry dating sim or not. Or maybe it's gonna take a darker turn and we're gonna explore the parsnip theme and some sheep rituals that will basically will want to kill people. Okay, without any further ado, let's continue. It was pretty early in the morning, but I sent Nikita a message anyway. I didn't get a response and assumed she must have finally gone to sleep. Or she went totally crazy. I could check again tonight if she was still MIA. I have no idea what that means. I could let security or the campus doctors know she was acting funny. That said, I knew she wouldn't do the same for me. I lazed around in bed for a while until I felt too gross to not shower any longer. Once I was eventually somewhat functional, I decided to work out what to do. I remembered I promised to help Heidi again. I was hoping I wouldn't regret signing up for boring junk sorting, but I couldn't help but be intrigued by her side business, whatever it was. And we want to earn some money, don't forget about the money. And still, we could have done like go with Belle in the morning and then help Heidi in the afternoon, because obviously you are not taking any classes. I don't know what she's doing in this university, and she should have been kicked out long time ago. I mean, who can hand out like a master's degree to someone like Trixie? I mean, come on. And some of the stuff she might have been cool to look at, even if it was just that. With last night's encounter with Nikita, all but forgotten, I made myself somewhat presentable and headed to town. So here we are. Heidi seemed somewhat surprised to see me. Good of you to show up, Trixie. Ready for a day of hard work? She grinned and bundled me into her office. I wasn't ready for a day of hard work. I never am. Slacker. I was tired after half an hour. Lifting stuff is a lot of effort. Oh, come on, do something with your life. Oh, I'm getting along with Trixie. She does nothing all day. She's just lying in bed. Is she depressed? If so, go seek some medical help, because it's not a way to live, you know? I persevered though, and after a few hours we were pretty much done. I noticed Heidi's shop didn't get much traffic, though with the amount of money her secret stock was worth, I wasn't sure what was an issue. I was about to comment on the lack of customers when we heard the shop's front door open. A customer had arrived. Heidi snuck over to the office door and peered through the spy hole. Oh, of course. She opened the door and beckoned me into the shop. A familiar face was waiting for us. Hey Greg, we're just in the back. Not fucking each other or anything. She forced a laugh out as she closed the door behind us. Greg giggled. I was a little offended. I don't think I'm really the fucking kind of person unless it involves monsters or cyber bat racer maybe. Hi friends! You here for these 2 boxes? You bet! Is that still okay? I don't want to cause any trouble if you need them. Nah, take as many as you need. So, what do you need them for anyway? You making a delivery or something? Oh, it's for boxing things. I'm going to put things in the box. Okay. Their eyes flitted back and forth. I'm boxing the wedding cake I made for those 2 mice. The cake's going in the box. Yep. Makes sense. It certainly did. Anyway, I better get back and box the cake. See you later, pals. Later, dude. Have a nice time boxing the cake. I'm pretty sure he's boxing some kind of like dead bodies or something, you know? Greg hurried out of the shop, the cardboard box held above their head. They looked pretty ridiculous. Okay, Trixie, we've got a few things left to go through before we're done. Let's not waste any time. It took longer than I would have liked, but we eventually finished sorting for the day. I almost collapsed, exhausted. I was amazed at quite how much junk Heidi had collected. I still really wanted to find out where this stuff came from, for educational purposes, obviously. That's enough for today, great work. She pulled a wad of money from her pocket. Nice. £75, how's that sound? I could buy a lot of tat with that, cool. I'd never been paid for a job before, besides the time I got given £10 to throw a rock through someone's window. Though that was less of a job and more of a paid act of vandalism, like being a soldier. Oh hey, you like whiskey, Trixie? Oh, I mean, I haven't tried it. I don't drink often, I'm pretty bad with alcohol. Besides, I better head back to my room and get some sleep, you know? Well, feel free to have a bottle anyway, I have tons of the stuff. Think of it as a work benefit. Oh, sure then, it might be tasty. Knock yourself out. Can't we take the bad plushie instead? I mean, don't. Take it slow. Alcohol, know your limits. Good advice. She opened her own bottle and downed half of it. Oh. I thanked her and headed home. I drank the entire bottle within 10 minutes of leaving when my phone rang. Trixie! Something's came up. Can you help me out again? Fortunately, I'd avoided the whiskey's evil effects so far and was able to answer. Hi! Why are you shouting? Mostly. Sorry, I can't be there in 5 minutes. Great, see you then. I managed to find a way back to Heidi's. It only took about twice as long as it should have. Hi! I kind of fell through the door, tried to turn it into a kind of cool dance move, but I don't think it worked. Wait, Trixie, are you drunk? Seriously? Yeah. I tried to do a cool grin, but I'm pretty sure I just looked sleazy. Great. Well, you better sober up, because it's too late to rearrange this mess now. I need you to go make a delivery for me while I meet my supplier. I hope it's not drugs. That would be very illegal. I giggled to myself for a bit, apparently finding the concept of drug prohibition hilarious. Heidi just shook her head in despair. I realized I needed to get my act together and manage to brute force sobriety for a while. Sorry, Heidi, yeah, I'm okay now. I can totally hand over some drugs for you. Easy. Heidi didn't look wholly impressed with my joke. Apparently, only I find myself funny when I'm drunk. It's not drugs. It's some of the crap we've been sorting. That stuff has... well, it has a very specific clientele and I sell it in alleyways. Okay. Look, don't worry about it too much, okay? We don't have time to mess about. Now, there's something else you'll need. Okay, so explain again why I'm just as a pixie or whatever. A pixie? Have you ever seen a pixie before? They don't look anything like that. I meant goblin. Oops. I giggled to myself for a moment before calming down again. Behave. Now, Trixie, you're no longer Trixie. In this costume, you are Delilah Moonbeam. Delilah Moonbeam, keeper of the cosmic secrets. Is this your friggin' Dungeons and Fungeons character, Heidi? I started cackling to myself. Heidi seemed a lot less cool and edgy now. Heidi's face was red with embarrassment, but she quickly regained composure and swatted me lightly around the head. Hey, shut the fuck up. Delilah Moonbeam is my illegal antique book-selling alter ego. That way the readers who buy this crap can recognize me and can come stalk me. So don't fuck up and let anyone know who you are, and don't fucking tell anyone about this or I'll fucking end you, okay? She sounded pretty serious, so I shut up. Okay, so you're going to want to use a different voice. I usually do a deep, scary one. I wasn't going to do that. Taking in a deep voice made me feel like shit. As unhealthy as it might be, I always choose to kill my vocal cords and talk how I want to over my normal voice, or worse, an over the top deep one. I figured I'd just talk kinda slowly and weird like a cartoon ghost. You're heading to the alleyway. I think Trixie, shut the fuck up. I couldn't even read that. I mean, it was like skipping automatically there. You kids need to learn your alcohol tolerances. I giggled under my breath a little more, but managed to shut up. Okay. As I was saying, you're heading to the alleyway, next to Pound Town. That cheap tat shop, like 10 minutes from here. Someone will meet you there. You take the payment, then you give them the books, then you leave. Got it? Yeah, I got you. Spooky voice, don't show my face. My name is Delilah Moonbeam, alleyway, going to Pound Town. Give the books, get the payment. Easy. Heidi didn't look super convinced, but before she could comment, she glanced at the clock. Fuck. You're gonna be late if you don't get going. Just don't mug this up for me, Trixie, please. I'll pay you away for when you're back, I promise. Heidi handed me 2 wrapped-up books and bundled me out of the door with some vague directions to Pound Town. And of course we are going to get lost, because we are drunk, aren't we? It wasn't too far from the shop, so even my inebriated state, I get there pretty quickly. Okay, that's a surprise. I waited around in the dark alleyway, hoping I wasn't late. Just as I was thinking about leaving, I caught sight of movement in the darkness. An odd figure shuffled towards me. They forced themselves towards me on clumsy, rigid legs. Is that a sheep wearing a trench coat? They wore a heavy hooded cloak, which shrouded their face in the darkness, from which yellow eyes came towards me. It's a sheep. Oh yeah, we can see the hoofs. Yes. Delilah. Their voice was strange. It rasped every sound and cut out suddenly at the end of each phoneme. Ooh, I am Delilah Moonbeam. Ooh. The figure's hooded head jerked up and down. I think it was supposed to be a nod. The figure twitched, almost seeming to collapse briefly before jetting back up. Yeah, because it's difficult for the sheep to stand on two thin legs, you know? Before I could ask if they were alright, they spoke again. Wait, man, as discussed. I guess this could be the sound of a sheep, or maybe it sounds more like a goat, I don't know. The figure shakily and gerundingly extended a hoofed hand to me. Their arm was covered in matted dirty wool, parts of which were shedding to reveal what seemed to be deep peck marks. Okay, so they're like messing around with this magpie, I guess. Peck marks, you know, or maybe they already killed her. Despite their armor ending with a hoof, this creature was clearly no cow. It appeared almost sheep-like, though I knew it was impossible, because in the world of all animals who, you know, act like humans, it's impossible for a sheep to be one of the characters, right? It always like makes me kind of giggle when you see like, I don't know, Mickey Mouse and Pluto, and there's Goofy. Goofy is a dog, and there's a mouse who has a pet dog, Pluto, and like Minnie Mouse being afraid of small mice, you know. Anyway, it dropped what seemed to be several pearls and a beautiful sapphire inlaid circlet into my outstretched hand. The valuable items sparkled in the starlight. I almost felt about stealing them to pay off my student debt, but probably a few diamonds on top of it to even make a dent in that. So why do you go to university, you get yourself indebted, and then you don't even like study or try? Oh my god, I can't with Trixie. Besides, Heidi had a taser, one which she had neglected to give me for this meeting. Great. I put the treasure into my bag and took out the first package. I gingerly held the package forward. The mapped figure clumsily took it from my hands. Thank you, friend. And next. This mapped figure was off-putting. I wanted to get out of here as fast as possible and never see them again. Oh, no problem. I spluttered out. I was about to pass them the second package when I felt sick. Drinking that much whiskey had been a mistake. The last thing I needed was to drop inside the mask, which wasn't anywhere for it to go. I took off the mask and was pleased to find I just needed to burp. I almost yelled, realizing what I'd done. Oh my god, you've broken the character. My eye locked with two yellow pinpricks under the stranger's hood. I could swear I saw a flash of recognition. I quickly put the mask back on, almost dropping it in my panic. Claim my face was actually a second mask, or try to distract them and run away. I guess go the stupid one. I mean, that's what we do in this game. I wanted to yelp and run, but I managed to keep my cool, apparently forgetting to put on a voice in the meantime. Okay, right, so you probably think you got me there, but but actually, no. First, see, I'm wearing two masks. Several, actually, this. I tapped the mask smugly. Was but a first. My face was a second. I mean, my mask. But a second. It isn't my face. Wasn't. I thought it might have worked, and swayed on the spot for a bit. My heart dropped. Under the hood, I saw the glint of a malicious smile, and I knew the strange matted figure had not believed me. What did you expect? I mean, I just pushed you under the train right with this one. Like, of course they gonna know. I was about to hand over the packages and run, but I freaked out, and next thing I knew, I was running down the alleyway, the figure following me with loud stomps of its strange hard hoof-like feet. My heart raced. That unnatural creature in the alleyway filled me with dread. Something about their appearance, mannerisms, and even the air around them chilled me to the bone. I drew open the door to Heidi's shop and ran to the office, relieved to see Heidi was already back. You're back already? Good work. I owe you one. Get the costume off and we can both get some sleep. I took the costume off and packed it away, like Heidi had asked. I took my time, but I couldn't put it off any longer. So, Heidi, I fucked up your work. The one thing that you asked me not to do, yeah, I destroyed it. There's a little fuck up and I kinda saw my face, kinda. What? You showed your face to them? Are you kidding? I don't give you a fucking mask specifically, so this wouldn't happen. Do you know how much danger you've put us in? You know the people who buy this crap are real psychos, right? Like completely unhinged. I knew she would be mad, but hearing her sound genuinely afraid surprised me. Okay, let's tell her the truth. Okay, so I explained the entire meeting. Heidi listened and seemed to calm down as I spoke, much to my relief. I'm sorry for shouting at you, Trixie. I didn't mean to scare you. I have a bit of temper, and this is serious stuff. Come on, it'll be fine. Let's get you home safe and we can talk tomorrow when you're feeling better. My motorbike's out front. You can sit in the sidecar. Don't throw up in it though, cause then I will be pissed. For once I appreciated the laugh, but I wasn't sure I could promise that. Before we could leave, the front door swung open and the cool night breeze flowed into the shop. That's the shit. Good evening, fresh friends. Heidi seemed to see the worry on my face. Trixie, is this? I nodded, still stuck to the spot. I couldn't believe I'd let this happen. Heidi pushed me back and growled from bare teeth as she grabbed her grandmother's stout. What do you want? The figure jerkily raised her arm and pointed at me. Book. Leave Trixie the fuck down alone and leave, now. Book. The figure lurched forward. Wrong move. Heidi leapt forward and swung the bat as hard as she could. She clearly had a lot of practice. There was a terrible crack as the figure's arm broke. Oh, just an arm. I thought we were going for skull. I cringed at the sound, but was shocked to see them continue their advance. Either they didn't notice their arm was fractured or didn't care. Heidi threw her bat to the ground and pulled out her taser. She charged the figure and began wrestling with them, but seemed unable to dodge them, as if they were carved from solid stone. That book, return! Get out! Heidi slammed her taser into the cloaked figure's swollen arm, forcing contact between them. The figure pulled away and was start. Heidi fell for the floor in their dead absence. The wool Heidi had been tasering had ignited a small fire spread up the creature's arm. The masked figure flew out the door with force, as if yanked off stage by a cane. The shop fell silent. It was a while before Heidi spoke up. Trixie, let's get you home. We can talk about this tomorrow, okay? I nodded. According to the Poppygon.com, Cyberdrag Cool Yas from Mars was getting a reboot, so that was cool. Cyberbat Razor had a new design, somehow even hotter than the old one. Irrelevant, sorry again. There was some pretty exciting news, but pretty soon that night took a turn for the worse. I've been worrying about the matted figure all night, but was pretty sure they hadn't followed me. You think so? And hi to Uni, her bike was pretty fast. Besides, I was in a busy accommodation block, they would have to be pretty brave to follow me here. I'd calmed down a lot after eating some snacks. Things were going to be okay, I foolishly thought. Eventually, I managed to get to sleep, only to be immediately woken up by knocking at my door. If it was Nikita, she'd been shouting abuse at me by now. So, who was it? The matted figure? Trixie! This is important! We need to talk! It's about the king in yellow! My blood froze. I had completely forgotten to check up on Nikita, and by the sound of it, she'd deteriorated somewhat. I shouted a mess, of course, at her, my half-asleep mouth barely functioning. The knocking stopped. I managed to get my clothes on and opened the door. Trixie, sit with me. She took a seat on my bed. The king in yellow clutched in her hands. I was taken aback. Nikita always looked faintly repulsed by my hygiene. She would never normally consider touching any of my stuff. Nikita, are you okay? Trixie, shut up, I'm fine. Now sit down and listen to me. I already told you this is important. She didn't look fine. She looked even worse than the last time I saw her. I nervously sat down. My eyes would jump to the closed play. It was only a book, but it seemed to suck the air out of the room. I felt cold, confused, scared. Trixie, I finished reading it. It says so much. I can't. You need to read it for yourself to understand it. Just so I can't explain. My head is a maelstrom. But Trixie, my point is, I'm in this play, or I mean, I can tell it's supposed to be me. Trixie, I am the heir to the broken throne. I am the heir to Carcosa. I was dumbstruck. What was Nikita on about? She was a character in some old play, the heir to a fictional city. It was madness. Nikita, I think you need to sleep. You are not making any sense. How about you wait here and Trixie, you are not going to get me sectioned. Don't you dare accuse me of being sick or mad, or we both know I'm smarter than you, so shut up and listen to me. Her eyes were into me with genuine malice. She was scaring me. I'll express the issue, just to fuck up with her. Nikita, I really think you need to get some help. I hate to admit this, but you are scaring me a lot. Nikita stood up in an attempt to tower over me. It only kind of worked, given that she's shorter than me. I think she must have noticed because she leaned over my face, forced me to lean back. It would have been kind of hot if it wasn't fucking terrified. Nikita seemed to like forcing me to be subby. Trixie Glimmer Smith, shut the fuck up! Stop it, stop talking and listen to me. Her eyes flicked to the wall. I think she was worried people would overhear. I realized I wasn't going to get through to her. I just have to hear her out and get out of here. I could work out on what to do about this mess once she was back in her own room. Okay. I'm sorry, Nikita, I listen. Thank you, Trixie. I shall continue. I almost sighed with relief. She'd calmed down. She stayed towering over me. I think Nikita just gets off by being an authoritarian. I am the heir to Carcosa, Trixie. At first, I didn't believe, but all the signs are there. I've got this. I've had this since I was born. She pointed at the white freckles on her face. You recognize them, right? The Hyades, the constellation, the eternal prison of Carcosa. I gazed at Nikita's face. It was hard to be sure, but her markings were definitely familiar. I'd seen them before in my vision of Carcosa at night in my dreams. I see it. I mean, it's hard to tell. I don't know much about the stars. That seemed to placate Nikita somewhat, but she still seemed pretty unhappy with my lack of certainty. Look, Trixie, just read the play. It's not just the markings, it's theirs. There's so much. Nikita dragged my desk over to the bed. It screeched across the floor, but I didn't want to stop her. She sat down next to me again and placed the king in yellow on the desk. Read, please. You'll understand. I looked down the play. Ever since I'd first laid eyes on the book, had been at my back of my mind. I wanted to read it. I carefully reached out and ran my hand across the cover. It was cold. Open it, Trixie. We don't have forever. Open the king in yellow. A lot of time passed. Initially, I was disinterested. Nikita had obviously been skimping on sleep. A play written over a century ago did not reference her. It could not. Strangely, I remember little to nothing of the play's contents. It seemed to pass through my mind like wind. But while I remembered little, in my mind I still see the black stars hanging in the sky, the rolling clouds breaking against the dread galleys of the Imperial Navy and the terrible remains of the broken throne. When Nikita saw me finish Act 1, she spoke for the first time since she had opened the play. Do you see it yet? Do you see me? No, Nikita, there's never even mention of an heir or you or anything. It just, oh jeez, I don't even know how to describe it. What is this? What are you saying? You can't see me? Can't you read? Give it back to me. She wrestled me for the book. My desk toppled over in the struggle. I needed to play. It was mine now. Give it to me, Nikita. I realized I let go to shout at her. I quickly grabbed it again, but it was too late. Nikita shoved me and I tumbled to the floor. As I fell through the air, I got a glimpse of the first line of the second act. In that moment, I saw only a blur of ink scrawled onto the yellowed page. I'm not even sure I truly read it, but it left an imprint in my mind nevertheless. More than anything else that happened the next few days, no matter how bad it got, nothing compared to this. If I could destroy all memories of this year, my new friends, my education. What education? You do nothing all day, come on. Even my transition I would. For the opening, the second act of King in Yellow was terrible, unlike anything imaginable. I hit the ground with a thud. My head spun and my vision blurred. A feeling of dread, the likes of which I had never known, hit me like a gunshot. My head felt light as I raised my hands to indicate my surrender. They shook, as if I was about to faint. What I read in that book stays with me even to this day, and I have no intention to repeat it here, lest rereading it bring me new, more terrible insights. That line changed everything. Nikita was right. The broken throne belonged to her. You believe me now, don't you, Trixie? Never doubt me again. Nikita grabbed a pair of crazy scissors from my desk and brandished them threateningly. I wasn't too worried. They were too bulky and plastic to make a proper weapon, but Nikita was still scaring me. Now get out. Get out of here. I never should have let you read this. You don't deserve it. But this is my room. A small semblance of normality returned to Nikita's face. She seemed to have snapped out of her fury. I needed to use this chance to calm her down. I broke out and died. Let's go with the student union election. Nikita, wait. What about your election stuff? Running around with weapons, attacking people and... You think I care about student politics? You saw my calling into that page, Trixie. Whether you want to admit it or not, you know. You will always know where I was headed. To Carcosa, to the broken throne. I had heard the mention of the Forsaken City. Surely Nikita couldn't truly intend to sit upon its throne. Look, Trixie, you had your chance to join me as my underling. But it's clear that the decay of this world, its silly parties and fun have ruined you. You could have shined as bright as the twin suns. Disappointing. She took off, running from my room with the plate and her weapon. I was left alone on the floor, a trembling mess. I scrambled for the door and managed to lock it, my heart thudding in my chest, as my mind tossed and turned like a dread fleet at anchor. I should have been more worried about Nikita. She was clearly a danger to herself and others. But all I could think about was the king in yellow. I only remember parts of the night that followed. My mind raced almost non-stop. Every now and again I'd fall asleep only to wake up elsewhere in my room. At some point my phone buzzed. Nikita was messaging me. Why didn't you believe me, Trixie? You had your chance to serve me at the foot of the broken throne and rule the city of decay. Why did you have to ruin it? The king's tattered hand will guide me alone through the path you made for me. The twin skulls will guide me to twin suns, the night that never ends, under the pale moon, under the black stars, under the bleeding sky. This is what I was meant to be always. I was meant to be the ruler. I was meant to be. Do not be scared, Trixie. You know this is right. You know this is the way things are supposed to be. You know I am kind. I will not allow the king to harm you when the gate opens. I promise. Okay, that's kind of upsetting. It continued in that manner for a long time. Maybe hundreds of messages from Nikita, all completely incomprehensible. She seemed set on sitting upon the broken throne underneath the rotten spire of Carcosa. My phone started buzzing almost non-stop. Similar messages poured through hundreds of unknown numbers. I tried to block them, but more and more flooded through. Were this all coming from Nikita? Did she have friends? Or was it something far worse? Nikita had a weapon. She was unstable. I thought about how she had spoken earlier that night. It had scared me. I needed help, but who would believe me? I didn't want to burden Heidi with it. She had enough on her plate already thanks to me. There was the police. I didn't like them, but maybe they were my only hope. Let's phone the police, why not? I knew I had to try. I dialed the police. Hey, I'd like to report a dangerous deer at my university. Wait, who is this? I checked the number. It was definitely the police, so why were they whispering? I strained my ears, trying to pick up words, but all I could hear was faint murmuring. Hey, look, I'm trying to report an incident, so shut up. I know you guys are a bunch of homophobic bootlickers, but at least try to do your job right, okay? Hello? For fuck's sake. More murmuring. At first I thought my attempt at a feminine voice was being mocked. But then I heard the word Carcosa and my blood chilled. The police were compromised. I disconnected the call. This was hopeless. Nikita had somehow gotten the police in on it against me. I gave up. This was my problem to deal with alone. The most distinct terrifying moment I recall was at maybe 4 a.m. I was lying awake when I noticed a figure stood at my door, tall, robed, and stood perfectly still. I held my breath and shut my eyes. I don't know how long they were shut, but eventually I opened them again. My breathing was rapid as I focused. There was no one there. I of course realized in the morning I was freaking out over my dressing gown. Eventually I managed some small amount of restful sleep, an hour or two at most. When I awoke, I could remember what happened with Nikita all too well. I could remember reading The King in Yellow, but after that, nothing. Parts of it seemed to be a dream, or my imagination, or something worse. There was no wall between reality and madness. I couldn't trust anything. But I knew Nikita was dangerous. I knew she was headed to the broken throne. Quite what that meant I didn't know, but I had to stop her. If Nikita unlocked the white gate of Holly and walked through, what could walk back out? Despite my fatigue, I somehow remembered that I needed to change my estrogen patch today. Desperate to retain some degree of normalcy, I decided to get on top of that. I've been skimping on my anti-androgen tablets too. No wonder I was messed, my hormones were all over the place. Anti-androgen tablets, so an estrogen patch, so she is male to female transition, right? So born as a male, right, and transitioning into female, if I'm getting that right. I downed one, hoping to keep my testosterone in check. With dark thoughts still swirling in my head, I managed to stagger over to my bathroom mirror. As usual, the edges of my patch were coated in grey gunk. Oh! I peeled the sticky patch off. And as usual, I looked like shit. I needed a hot shower. Maybe it would wash away the storm of thoughts in my mind along with the gross eye gunk clinging to my face. I spent most of it curled up under the water, the hot water masking my tears. It woke me up, but I didn't feel any better. After the shower, I slapped a new patch on my ear. You're meant to put them below the waist, but I don't want to shave an area for it, so... Come on! If a doctor tells you to use something properly and stick the patch to a particular area, this is for a reason. So you're probably spending like lots of money for those meds, for the hormones, and then you don't even use them correctly? Come on, what's the point, Trixie? I'm assuming I'll be fine, I haven't died yet. Oh, Trixie, do something with your life, come on. I'd gotten a text from cops, the local pizza takeaway. Apparently, they were blacklisting me for prank calling them. I blinked, bemused. I had no idea what it was about. Had Nikita framed me? She seemed a little beyond sabotaging my pizza reputation when she was waving a weapon at me. I figured it was a mistake and left. Their pizza was overpriced anyway. I'd got another text, this time from campus security. Apparently, the person next door, I think Misty Dartmouth or someone on the museum studies course, had put in a complaint about me. Apparently, I'd been talking to myself all night and scratching the wall. Shame. I liked her. It's just because she had a nice name. I looked at the wall. It was true. I'd left some tiny claw marks in them. Those my deposit gun. Maybe I could buy some paint off of Heidi and hide them, but right now I had more pressing problems. By the time I was ready to face the world, it was already pretty late. I needed to do something. After last night, the last thing I wanted to be trapped inside with my mind all day. Heidi probably didn't want me to calm down until about 5 as normal. I thought I'd shoot her a message and check. She phoned back. Hey, I said I don't do messages. I like to be able to shout. She grinned scarily. I don't even know how I knew that through the phone. There wasn't any funny business last night, right? After you got home? I thought it would be best not to bring up the key in yellow, Nikita or any other events from the last night. No, it was fine basically. So is that the patch here? It probably shouldn't be there, come on, do something with this. Fine, basically. You don't sound too sure, Trixie. No, I'm okay, I'm just, I spilled juice to myself and got sticky. It was wild, a real tragedy. I'm really clean now though, like a baby. Like a baby? I don't know what that even meant. Sounds terrible. Hope you're doing okay now though. I was glad my anxiety of using phones was overriding my fear. I didn't want to put all the shit with Nikita or Heidi, not when we were already dealing with the matted figure. I'm fine. I'll come down like at the 4-ish, yeah? Sure. I'll just be using a broom to get the crowd that lives in the vending machine out of all afternoon. They've been pretty loud recently and I'm sick of it. See you later, bitch. Wait, the line went dead. I fucked about online for a while, desperate not to think too hard about last night. Eventually, I ended up at Heidi's. So, the magpie is still there, right? There was a lot of black feathers lying around, the signs of an ancient battle between crown and hyena. Hey Trixie, you got here just in time to help me clean up the remains of the cozy calm crow. Not that the name suited them, the violent fucker. She nursed some peck marks on her face. Wait, remains? You didn't kill them, right? Heidi flashed her teeth at me. No, of course not. We just had a disagreement and they got their feathers all ruffled. They're meant to be shop security. I don't let them eat vending machine snacks all day in return for nothing. They weren't exactly much help last night. They can move back, and once they promised to peck the eyes out of my enemies. Come on, help me clean this up. We spent the next half an hour picking up the entire bird's worth of feathers. The cozy, calm crow was lucky it was so warm out. Nice work, Trixie. Ready to some actual work now? Yeah, I guess. More sorting through ancient treasures? Arty junk would be more accurate. None of this shit is actually real, remember. I hoped for Heidi's sake this stuff wasn't real, but after reading The King in Yellow, I wasn't so sure I believed her. So, about last night? I'm kind of thinking it was a one-off. I gave that creep a pretty nasty seeing too with the taser, right? I don't think we have to worry about them. We were just kinda freaked out last night and got worked up. Weirdo was probably just junky, you know? We can keep an eye on them, but I think we are fine. I wasn't entirely sure I believed that, but I trusted Heidi's judgment. She had been in this business longer than me. Oh sure, that makes sense, I guess. I still couldn't shake the feeling that we're more to the matted figure than just a weirdo and drugs. Come on, Trixie, let's get to work. We got sorting and remained amazed by quite how much stuff Heidi had hoarded. But if she could sell each thing for as much as the matted figure had handed me yesterday, I didn't blame her. Where do you actually get this stuff from? The magic car boot sale? I have a supplier, a secret one. You won't meet them. I'll buy crap from them and then I sell it on. I think of them like a weird wholesaler. I considered asking if Heidi could get hold of some kind of Nikita calming amulet, but I decided I didn't want to go into all of that. We sorted for a while. Heidi kept checking the time. I think she could tell I noticed and felt the need to explain. I have moonbeam business to attend to tonight. Some loser wants a book called Where the Strange Things Are by Elaria de Vonenbarrer, or some crap. Moonbeam business? Are you sure that's a good idea after last night? It'll be fine, I can look after myself. Bad timing really. Belle's been trying to get to me to bar tonight. She seems pretty desperate for contact whenever I've seen her recently. I told her I have to go to apologize to the CEO of Crowbar Inc. after sending the corporation some arson threats. She believed it. That's an interesting lie. Hey, that was all true except the bit about the apology. The corporation took out a restraining order on me instead. I just needed an excuse to not be able to go out tonight, you know? As we sorted through Heidi's stock, I noticed her mask on the desk. When I'd seen it before, I hadn't thought much of it. Perhaps the alcohol had distracted me, but looking at it now, the mask was faintly ominous. The fur on the back of the neck stood on the end of memories of a masquerade in the Imperial Palace floated through my mind. Memories of Casilda. Where'd you get the mask from, Heidi? It looks very expensive. Heidi looked at me quizzically. No, I made it myself in the afternoon. Smashed up some plates, glued it on an old mask from the theater days, and sprinkled some sequins on it. Looks fucking stupid, sure, but at night with a hood it's vaguely spooky, and it stops the kind of weirdos who buy my stuff from recognizing me, so it does the job fine. Oh. I wasn't sure I believed it. I could see the guilt on Heidi's face. She was lying. I didn't want to push her on it, but something about the mask remained deeply troubling. For in its ruby eye, I could see 1,000 reflections of Carcosa. Heidi's phone rang. She pushed me out of the office and into the shop. Sorry, Trixie. Secret phone call. The door slammed behind me. I tapped my fingers on the desk until Heidi re-emerged a few minutes later. Okay, so my supplier is totally fucking me. Oh, good for you? No, not like that. They rescheduled our meeting again. I need to go meet them tonight, but I already have that other meeting to attend to. What? Are you sure this isn't like a trick? Nah, my supplier is just useless, such a floozy. Look, would you be okay with like going out and making the sale for me? Can't I meet the supplier instead? Last time I tried to make a sale for you, well, it didn't go so great. My suppliers were secretive. They wouldn't show if I wasn't there. Look, I feel really bad about asking you to do this after last night, but it would be really hard to rearrange between my supplier. I'll give you the taser and the bat, and if anything seems off, you just get out of there, right? Sure. It's okay though. I'm sure I'll be fine. You showed that weirdo who was boss when you broke their arm and set fire to them, right? They won't fuck with the Lila Moonbeam again. That or they would be hell-bent on revenge, I thought. I wonder if we'd like choose to not help Heidi but spend some time with Greg or Belle. What would happen? Is there like separate storylines, or would we end up, helping up the shop anyway? I will have to replay the game at some point. I waited in the same spot as yesterday, shivering in the cool night air as I held on the wrapped book in my hands. I quickly checked my phone, which I admit broke character a little. Whoever I was meeting was late. I was considering leaving when a shadow appeared at the end of the alleyway. "Oh, hi Greg, or whoever you are." They clearly weren't the figure from yesterday. They were probably about half their height and wore a cardboard box on the head with what I hazard to call a scary face drawn on it. They approached me nervously. "Hello, I am Delilah Moonbeam. Woo!" "Ah!" I screamed as this ghast figure leapt on me, taken by surprise. I fell against the cold floor and blacked out. I must have woken up a few minutes later. Fortunately, I didn't seem too badly hurt. In fact, I'm pretty certain I just fell asleep because I was tired. Delilah's hood was surprisingly pillow-like. The alley was deserted, but the book was gone. I knew it must have been some kind of lucky for the masked figure. Who knew how many more were out there that might try to hurt me? I had to get back to hiding now. I could only hope she was already back from her meeting. I sprinted through the dark streets. They seemed deserted until I ran up against a group of cloak-wearing strangers, their dark hoods hiding their faces. I screamed. They had been sent by the masked figure. I knew it. I shoved one of them, my weak little arms doing little to push them. I turned and fled the way I came. I wanted to take a longer route, shake them off my tail. It was a long while before I realized I wasn't being pursued. I kept running anyway. I have no idea how. Usually my legs stopped working after about 5 meters. But not this time. I was terrified. I just needed to get back. I burst through the shop door. Heidi was already there, replacing the used-by dates on some tinned foods with new stickers. "Heidi!" "Jeez, Trixie, are you okay? Where were you? You should have been back ages ago." I had to catch my breath. I was chased. I had to lose the chasers. "You were..." "What? Trixie, what happened?" "Look, just go get changed. I'll keep an eye out." I shakily got out of the outfit in the office and returned to Heidi, somewhat calmer. I was attacked. Again, someone, the person I met, they jumped me. They must have been sent by our new friend. Fucking jeez. Heidi paced around the room, stopping briefly to beat up a box of pineapple snapples out of sheer anger. "And you are sure it was them? Or one of their helpers or whatever?" I only now considered that there wasn't actually any proof it was one of the masked figure helpers. Well, no, I'm not sure. I just assumed. I mean, has this happened before? Never twice in a row. You're right, this is too weird. It must be related. Fuck's sake. She continued pacing. I was too shaken to speak. This is getting out of hand. I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. Right, I'm going to implement Eclipse contingency. I'm torching any crap that doesn't look valuable and moving the rest somewhere safe so I can lay low. I've noticed Heidi seems to use anything as an excuse to torch stuff. I'll pack the junk up and burn it tomorrow. Wanna lift back to your place again? I did. I need to get some sleep. I should have started doing something about Nikita, but I was way too tired. Hopefully my exhaustion would stop me from thinking too hard about the masked figure. And the king in yellow. And I guess that's a perfect time to stop this episode. So we have been jumped at twice already. And the shit is going to hit the fan pretty soon, I believe. Hopefully in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this one and hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.